Welcome, grade 7s, to No More Hard Maths. Right now in South Africa, many learners in grade 7, 8, and 9 are struggling with maths, and there is a big gap between these grades. And this is very important because these are the years that prepare you for grade 10, 11, and 12. If we don't fix these gaps early, many learners end up dropping maths later on. That's why I want to focus on helping grades 7 to 9 so that you can keep maths as a subject and have more opportunities in the future. Today, I'm going to show you something very important where we use fractions in real life and why we actually need them. Remember, we dealt with what fractions are, so now we are going to deal with where we use fractions in real life and why we actually need them. Number one on the list is the easiest, cooking and baking. Let's start with cooking and baking because this is one of the easiest places to see fractions in real life, right? Imagine a recipe says use half a cup of sugar. Now, one full cup is one whole cup, right? It's one whole cup. This is my cup. I hope you can see that. But the recipe does not want a full cup. It only wants half of that cup. So what we do is this. We take 1 cup measuring cup, right, which is this one. And then instead of filling it to the top, we only fill it halfway with sugar. So halfway would be here. And then that half point is called 1. It's called 1/2, that halfway. If we put too much sugar, the cake will be too sweet. If we put too little sugar, the cake will not taste right. So fractions help us measure the correct amount so that our food comes out exactly the way it should. This would come in handy if you would like to be a chef one day, if you'd like to own a baking shop one day. The next example where we use fractions is finance and shopping. Imagine you have 20 rand and you want to share it equally between two people. So you have 20 rand and you want to share it equally between two people. So this is person one and this is person two. Each person will get half of 20. And what is half of 20? Half of 20 is 10 rand, right? Or imagine a shop says everything is half price. Everything is half price. That means you only pay half of the original amount. So if something costs 100 rand, half of that is half of 100 rand would be you divide it by 2, remember, because you need to get two parts of the 100 rand, and that would be 50 rand. So you're only paying 50 rand. Fractions help us understand discount prices and how to share money fairly. Then we have time management. We also use fractions when we talk about time. 1 full hour is 60 minutes, but sometimes we don't wait the whole hour. When we say half an hour, so it's 60 minutes. When we say half an hour, we mean half of 60, which is, remember, we divide 60 by 2 and we want just a part of the whole, which is the whole is 60. So when we want a part of the whole that we divided by 2, then half of 60 minutes would be 30 minutes. When we say a quarter past, we mean 15 minutes past the hour because 15 is 1/4 of 60 minutes. And I would do this as an example. Let's say this whole is 60 minutes, right? This whole is 60 minutes. And then we we want quarter past. We, and quarter past would mean 15 minutes past the hour. So we divide this 60 minutes into four equal parts because a quarter means 1 over 4. So meaning this is 1 over 4, 1 over 4, 1 over 4, and 1 over 4. And what does that mean? In each quarter, we have 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, and 15 minutes. So a quarter past here is 15 minutes um, past the hour. And because 15 is one quarter of 60 minutes. So fractions help us understand how time is divided and how to manage our day properly, which is correct. If you want to spend 2 quarters of the hour you have, then you know that you need to divide your time into quarters. You know that, okay, this time I studied that, and then I will use this one as a break. That's how you will manage your time. Then we move on to another example of where we use fractions, and that would be measurement, construction, and craft, right? So builders and designers use fractions all the time. Imagine a plank of wood is 1 meter long. We have a plank of wood and it is 1 meter long. So they cut the plank in half, and this would give you, it would give you half a plank and half a plank, right? Or maybe they need 1/4 of a tile. This is your tile. Tiles are normally square. This is your tile, and then you would divide it into four, and then the only one that you would take in this case would be, it would be this one that you want to take, and that would be a quarter of the tile that you are using, right? So they divide it into four equal parts and take one part. One part, so they're only going to take this part. Fractions help people measure correctly so that buildings, furniture, and designs fit properly. So if you want to be a builder one day, if you want to design furniture one day, you're going to have to know how to use fractions. Then the other example where we use fractions is sports and performance. Imagine a player takes 4 shots at goal and scores 3 times. That means they scored 3 out of 4 shots, right? Which we can write as the fraction 3 quarters. This is the soccer ball, and then they scored 1, 2, 3. So this is shot one, and that equals to a score, and then shot two, and that equals to a score, and then shot three, that equals to another score. But the last shot, no score. There was no score there. So meaning this would be 1, 2, 3, 3 quarters. That means they scored 3 out of 4 shots, which we can write as a fraction 3 quarters. Fractions help us understand performance, how well someone is doing, and how much they are improving. So if you're going to play sports one day, that's how you will determine your performance. Or if you are a coach, you also need to know fractions. Now, another example where we use fraction medicine and health. Fractions are very important in medicine. Imagine a doctor says, take half a tablet in the morning. That means you take 1 tablet, this is a tablet, and break it into 2 equal parts. And then you take only one part in the morning. So you're only going to take one part and then save the rest because they say take half a tablet. And if you take too much medicine, it can be dangerous. If you take too little, it may not help you. So fractions help doctors and nurses give the correct amount to keep us safe and healthy. So if you want to be a doctor, a nurse, you're going to need to know how to use fractions. And then lastly, the example where we use fractions is everyday life. Even at home, we use fractions every day when we cut a cake into equal pieces. So here is a cake, and in the family, you are five. Let's say you are eight. You will cut your cake into eight pieces, right? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. One for each member of the family. Each slice is a fraction of the whole cake. When we share food with people, fractions help us share equally so that everyone gets the same amount. That is it. Why fractions are important, grade sevens. So as you can see, fractions are not just something we learn at school. We use fractions every single day in cooking, money, time, building, sports, health, and at home. This shows us that a fraction is simply a part of a whole. And understanding fractions help us in many parts of life. That is why learning fractions is very important for your future. And remember, if you need help with any topic that you're struggling to understand, please reach out and we will tackle it together. Follow for more grade 7 maths explained simply. I hope you understood this section. If you didn't, please let me know and we will go with you slowly on it and so that you can understand and not memorize. Thank you, grade 7s. Enjoy maths.